Hi, have you ever wondered what makes you really happy? Is it the bank account? Is it good health? Your child's success? What is it really that makes you happy? We are, from a certain point of view, all of us in a pursuit of happiness. The French poet Guillaume Apollinaire said that from time to time it's good to stop looking for happiness and simply be happy. And this is quite intriguing if you think a little bit of it. What does it really mean to be happy? Nobody teaches us how to be happy. Since we are babies, we simply know how to be happy. It's in our nature. It's something which is inbuilt in our structure. We don't need anybody to teach us what happiness is or how happiness feels. But in time when we become adults and we start having a lot of life experience, we are sometimes we forget about being happy, we forget how to be happy. And there is in the neuroscience something which for me is absolutely fascinating. They are speaking about something which is called, I don't know if you're familiar with, anyhow I will tell you about it. It is called the negativity bias. It means that our brain is wired since millennia back to be very alert and spot whatever is threatening us, so negative impressions, and therefore our brain is much quicker in spotting negative, any type of negative energy or negative event, negative impression, we call it like that, than the positive one. This is called the negativity bias. It takes us 5 times. For example, in a couple relationship, I will give you an example. In a couple relationships, if you have experienced negative situations, it will require you 5 times more positive experiences in order to somehow balance. So let me turn it around and say it like this. For one negative experience, you need 5 positive ones in order to balance for your brain the experience of it, so that all in all, it will feel the same. So the same means 5 positive experiences to 1 negative one. So we are, unfortunately, wired in this manner as the neuroscience showed us. But this doesn't mean that we have to live our life in this manner, because our brain has something which also the neuroscience proved, which is called plasticity. So whenever we are having the same type of thoughts or the same type of feelings, or we are reacting internally to certain situation in the same manner, with the same pattern, our brain will have like an imprint. It will create a neurological path. And for example, if you are prone to, and we are wired to see more the negativity than the positivity, so if we are making a habit out of this, seeing the negative aspects of life more than the positive ones, we will have like tracks in our brain. So therefore, every time a new situation occurs, the already walked path, so to say, in our brain will be activated, and we will respond with the same negative tendency or negative reaction to it. But this is also good news for us, because in the same manner we can train ourselves to rewire our brain for happiness. Because in neuroscience they say, as neurons fire together, they wire together. So the more we practice, the more we exercise, the more we focus upon positive aspects and seeing the positive, the beneficial part of life in everything we experience, feel, encounter, go through, the more we will rewire our brain, we will reshape our brain, so that instead of us just going for the negative because of this so-called negativity bias, now we will go for the positive ones. What you can do practically in order to rewire your brain for happiness? One very simple thing that we all can do is, instead of running movies in our mental simulator and imagine that the future will not be great, stop doing that. So whenever you catch yourself with the scenario in your mind, so with a movie running in your mental simulator that the future will not be so bright, stop. Take a step back, mentally speaking, and then you will have to imagine the future being wonderful. You don't know anyhow how the future will be. We don't even know what will happen with us in 5 minutes from now. So instead of wiring our brain to see only the negative and to focus only upon, or mostly upon, the negative aspects, because the reptilian brain is pushing us to that direction, we can simply rewire our brain. So we will have it as a mental practice, as a mental training. Whenever we catch ourselves having negative thoughts, we stop and we come instead with a positive opposite thought. Don't fight your thoughts. It's a battle lost from the start, because the more you fight your thoughts, the more energy you feed them with, and therefore it will make your negative thoughts stronger. So the best strategy and the best mental practice that we all can do is, as soon as we notice we have negative thoughts in our mind, we stop, and then we replace them with a positive, beneficial thought. It will require practice, it will require patience, but it will give you spectacular results, I promise you. Another thing that we can also do is to train our mind, to train our brain, to rewire our brain, to spot and enjoy the beneficial aspects in our life, because every single day we are for sure encountering and experiencing a lot of positive aspects. But because the brain is wired for this negativity bias that I mentioned, it's easier for our brain to spot the negative, as I already said. So we need to train our brain to really spot positive aspects, beautiful aspects, things which are really have the potential to create happiness in us. And I will just come with one example. Maybe it's a little bit silly, but nevertheless you will get the point. Somebody is coming and paying you a compliment, and because of this negativity bias, the first tendency is to dismiss it and not accept it, just, reject it. Instead, accept it and savor it, enjoy it. So by doing this, by really turning positive, beneficial events into positive experiences that we feel deeply, intensely, it will simply train our brain to rewire it for happiness. And then you take it one step deeper, one step, you turn up the volume with the intensity of it and really savor it. So allow it to really go deep inside, because this will trigger the dopamine secretion in your brain. So the hormone of happiness will be doing its job quite a lot. And also, with practice, make sure that these positive, happy experiences that you have every single day, it doesn't have to be grand gestures, it doesn't have to be miraculous situations. It's enough that you see a blue sky or beautiful flowers, or that you see a kid smiling. It doesn't matter really the scale of it, as long as you train your brain and your mind to spot the positive, beneficial aspect, it will do its work for you. It will rewire your brain. So when we start training our mind more and more to spot the beneficial, the positive aspects in our life, make them your experience, make them your second nature. So really enjoy, savor them, take your time to really go deep inside and feel sensations in your body. Feel, for example, that the heart is beating a little bit faster, that your lungs are expanded, that you feel tickly sensations in your body. You will have to feel what it is inside your body when you are happy, or when you feel a state of happiness, and really train yourself to make it your second nature. So otherwise, as I said, because our brain is wired in this manner to spot first the negative one, and it takes 5 positive aspects to balance one negative aspect, we really need to work on rewiring our brain. But by doing this, by practicing, for example, you can call it mindfulness. So you take a walk and you look around, you pay attention to the nature, you pay attention to the sensations the wind has on your face, and it's a pleasant sensation, and so on and so forth. You will simply help your brain connect, make new neural connections, which will become stronger and stronger. So in time, by doing these new neural connections stronger, you will also see that they will thicken a part of your brain which is in connection with empathy. What does empathy for us? It does a very special aspect. Even if we are not happy right now, because we have enhanced the ability to be empathetic, when we, for example, see another person who is happy or enthusiastic or joyous, because we are empathetic, we will feel that state as if it is ours. And our mind cannot make the difference between reality and imagination, between something which is external and something which is internal. So through empathy, by rewiring our brain, as I explained, and also through empathy, we will be able to enrich our experiences, beneficial experiences, a lot. So it is really that simple, but it requires daily practice. So I will do a recap. We need to pay attention to our thoughts. And instead of running a movie in our mental simulator with a future which is not good at all, we will stop that. And as soon as we notice negative thoughts popping up in our consciousness, we stop. We don't fight them, we stop. And then we put in place, we replace them with the opposite beneficial ones as many times as it is required. And then we will go one step further and we will train our mind to spot the positive aspects in our daily life, which are numerous. They don't have to be grand, as I said, but they are numerous. So as soon as we spot something positive, we notice that that is a beneficial experience. Instead, a positive event, a positive situation, a positive aspect, we turn it into a beneficial experience so that we can make it internal. And then we will savor it. We go even deeper and savor it, because that will trigger dopamine in our brain. And then we will go even deeper and we will make that experience a part of us, like a second nature. So these are some very simple steps to do in order to rewire your brain for happiness. And you can even do a fourth technique, in which every morning when you wake up, before starting anything, before moving from bed, just relax a short moment and then focus your attention in the middle of your chest at the level of your spiritual heart, and go deep inside your self, your soul. Because at the level of our soul is always happy, our soul never suffers. So take a couple of minutes to reconnect yourself to your soul, your source, your infinite, eternal source of happiness, and stay there until you will start experiencing a state of happiness. And then you can start your day. And you can do this also during the day when you notice that you lost the connection with yourself. You are a little bit caught up in external situations and factors, and your mind is running a little bit wild, playing, projecting again in the mental simulator all kinds of scenarios, which are not always the most glorious ones. So these are some simple to apply, simple to do techniques, modalities, where you will be able to rewire your brain for happiness. Subscribe and get access to all the training videos, those already published and the ones on their way. I wish you a wonderful day.